Well, hey everybody, this is Chris DeFurio with Keys to the Shop. Welcome to another edition of Shift Break. Today's episode is brought to you by La Marzocco, who's been creating espresso machines by hand in Florence, Italy since 1927. They have such an amazing range of coffee equipment. The espresso machine is the heart of your business, and the fact that they have led the way for all these years in beauty, dependability, and innovation is saying a lot. I mean, honestly, it is kind of the cornerstone in terms of specialty coffee shops. If you go to almost any shop around the world, the chances are really good you're going to see a La Marzocco in the center of that operation. That just says volumes. One of the great pieces of equipment that I find myself recommending to clients all the time is a Linea PB. It's designed by and named in recognition of Piero Bambi, and it's a whole new level of performance and reliability and craftsmanship. I've worked on this machine a lot, and it's just is so dependable. I mean, it is always something I can rely on to give me great espresso for the effort that I put in. It's equipped with exclusive user-friendly interface software that gives the barista direct functional control over boiler temperature, brewing volume, hot water tap dose, auto back flush, and many other options. And like I said, it's a wonderful piece of equipment. It's one of many different types of machines that you can peruse. And I would recommend going and talking to one of their salespeople, info@lamarzocousa.com, and they will walk you through everything and find the perfect espresso machine for you. Check them out, info@lamarzocousa.com, and of course, check out the website, lamarzocousa.com. Today's episode is also brought to you by the wonderful folks over at Espressly, custom branded mobile apps. Remember those words, because that is one of the best ways, if you're looking for a convenience model of ordering for your customers, to really get mental, emotional real estate with your customer. It is not in competition with other coffee shops. Your app is your app. It's the feel of your shop and the convenience of a mobile ordering system. It fully integrates with Square. There's no setup or development fees, and it boasts a centralized loyalty program for each shop. So you get loyalty that integrates with Square. This drives repeat orders from customers, and it's fully customizable in Square for how points are redeemed and earned. Plus, Espressly doesn't charge a separate fee for having loyalty on in the app itself. So go check them out at espressly.co and have a conversation and get a feel for what this app can do for your business. I think you're going to really love what they have to offer. And again, I would highly recommend, if you're thinking about apps for your business, that Espressly be top of your list. Check them out again over at espressly.co. Okay, everyone. Well, today I wanted to talk with you about something that I've been thinking about. As usual, I like start these things the same way. It feels a force of habit. But one of the things that got me thinking about this is that a friend of mine, Andrew, over at Mad Lab, I love his live streams late at night in LA, talking about various issues in the coffee industry. And this in particular was talking about the high-end coffee experience and what it means to have like a Michelin star experience in coffee. And as long as I've been in coffee, we've always had this idea that we want to find legitimacy in the eyes of other established industries, which I think has been to our detriment. And I think Andrew agrees with this as far as what he had posted. And if you are lucky enough to follow Andrew on social media, then you'll have listened to this already, I hope. But always great thoughts from him. Here's the thing, though. The word that he used a lot was quality, as he was talking about what would constitute a high-end experience. And I do think that the world of coffee and coffee shops is ripe for a little bit more niching down, I guess, creating lines, not of separation in a negative sense, but saying we're going to customize an experience, hopefully for the benefit of the customers that we are hoping to reach. That's going to come into play a lot here as we talk about this idea of quality in our shift break. But one of the things that we constantly do in coffee is we pendulum swing in lots of different directions. It's this relatively small industry when we talk about quote unquote specialty coffee retail. Anybody doing something new is going to be seen as somebody who's setting a trend. And it's easy to see people doing lots of different things online. So we have different models of coffee service and exposure to a wide variety of various roasting styles and preparations and those types of things. And sometimes we get lost in this sea of options and we choose things for ourselves that most closely resemble what we believe a high-end experience is. And as Andrew pointed out in his live stream, I think, is that pretension often is one of the things that gets conflated with high-end. And so when we become more pretentious, we become more satisfied with ourselves. And we think people are going to treat us more seriously when we become pretentious. I've always been of the opinion that coffee, in the fact that it's a singular focus that we do in the cafe, is kind of like barbecue. Barbecue is the art and craft of smoking meat and serving that in a, there's various traditions that go along with it, similar to coffee. And there's different environments where barbecue is served. But by and large, barbecue is a pretty accessible thing. And it actually looks really strange to have a high-end barbecue experience, because barbecue in and of itself feels like, for maybe lack of a better word, an everyman kind of thing. Not a high-end, we're going to serve you on giant white plates, one small strip of brisket, and then you're going to love it. It just loses a little bit there. For other culinary arts, maybe that's appropriate, and because it's part of its culture, but coffee has this identity issue where we have outsourced so much of our identity to other industries, we don't even really understand who we are. And I think our customers actually understand who we are sometimes better than we do. And we have a history of treating our customers with derision, as if we are supposed to push the envelope constantly. But how often is this actually done because the customer wants it versus we're just insecure? This brings me to the idea of quality and the fact that, yes, quality is subjective, and maybe a conversation around the idea of coffee quality has a place in the industry now because of some of the exclusivity that we have treated coffee with, where the variety of tastes and blends and applications of coffee has actually gotten a lot narrower as we have become more pretentious. And so now I'm glad to hear conversations that we've had on the show, in fact, around quality and taste, like the episode with Kosta Kallivrousis on the Tyranny of Taste. That's a great episode to listen to. But I'm definitely of the opinion that quality still matters. And then we have to ask the question, what is quality? You can't just say, because we're worried about making definitions, we're going to have no definition. Standards matter. You can't say, well, any hospitality is good hospitality. In some sense, you could say contextually, if everybody is just a jerk to everyone and we expect that and we love it, then fine. I guess that's okay. If that's what you do, that's what you do. And who am I to come in and, say it's wrong? However, it's that part that I just said that I think it really is the heart of what quality is. Do you love it? Is it getting you the results that you want? Really, at the core of this is intentionality. So quality, to me, is like calling a shot. Like at the end of a billiards game, if you're going to call the pocket that you're going to put the 8-ball in, if you're playing that, then that is what you call, right? You call your shot. That intentionality, to me, is what quality is about. It's not so much saying I'm going to simply take whatever comes my way and call it fine because I don't want to call it bad. There is some bad tasting stuff out there. You give me a completely burnt piece of toast, I'm going to be like, I don't like it. But then you tell me, oh, that burnt piece of toast in some cultures is really prized. And who are we to say, well, I am the audience in this case, and I do have preferences. The intentionality we put to our craft has to do with if we are investing in being able to control the outcome for the purpose of receiving the return on that investment. In this case, I think with coffee, it is, do your customers love what you're doing? Can you do it repeatedly? Is there consistency in that? If your coffee tastes spicy with cocoa and molasses and people are just buying it on the shelf left and right, awesome. That is quality coffee. If it tastes like strawberry cheesecake and it's a little funky and people are buying it and they love it and you are doing that because you love it and you know you can do it consistently, that's quality as well. So in a sense, quality is contextual, but it doesn't mean we get rid of quality. And I want to make that really clear, I think, for people who might be listening to these conversations around how, quality is subjective and we have to basically play this game where we pretend to like something for fear of offending somebody. No, we should really be honest that coffee is for who is drinking it at that time. And in different countries and different cultures, it will resonate more or less. And so if you say we're all about quality coffee and you serve a menu of coffee in your cafe in Kansas that is completely different in terms of taste from somebody in Indonesia or another culture that may have a different palate, you're both right. You both can say you serve quality coffee, but especially because you're doing it with intention. You're crafting the experience for your customers that is consistent and that you embrace with your full self and say, we love this blend. We love this dark roast. We love this carbonic macerated coffee. We just are in love with this. And in that smaller context, quality really resonates. But in a larger context too, I think quality of coffee is still important because, we're all human beings. And at a certain level, at a certain range, so what we can't do here is lie to ourselves. Like when trainers will constantly praise bad work that baristas do in hopes that just the blind affirmation will make them do better work. We have a whole episode about this from a long time ago called Stop Lying, because it doesn't do them any favors. You're trying to get them to a specific outcome. The intention behind this is that if you're going to pour a rosetta, I can praise your progress, but I'm not going to make you think that you've arrived. I'm going to save some of that. I'm going to say, look, we still have some work to do. This is on the right track, but we still have some work to do. That is what quality, I think, really means, is we have a destination for the flavors that we want to achieve, or the cleanliness of the bar that we want to achieve, or the hospitality and the feel and how customers respond to us in our experience. These are all quality standards that we have that are crafted intentionally for our contexts. So I feel like it's important that we talk about this, because my fear in some ways is the recommodification of specialty coffee, where we want people to pay more for coffee. We want them to see it as very special, but then we actively work against the idea that quality matters, or that there are things that taste better than other things. I think we should still have the conversation about what tastes better or best in the industry, but we have to do it with a lot more connection to the end user of that coffee, so we can sell more coffee to people who will love that coffee. And the people all along the value stream are going to benefit from that intentional crafting of an experience from seed to cup and back again. So interested in your thoughts here for sure on quality and taste and all of these things. But I do think it matters still, and it will always matter, even if at certain intervals in the industry, we don't want to admit it. So thank you very much for joining me today on this shift break. Hope it was helpful. And as always, I hope that this episode has truly given you keys to the shop.